Do I recognize the Mexican government? No. I think the Mexicans should rise up and overthrow the current government that came out of the last revolution. I believe if they were to do that and gone back to their old system, they'd be more prosperous, and I believe they would be within their right to take back that which after the with the former revolution sold out. People want to talk about Aztlan. They're raiding the Mendoza Codex, and that's silly to think that. I mean, the links between the Four Corners area and the Aztecs are very weak, and they're based upon very European man's, white man's burden. We have to train the ignoble savage type of thing. Oh, well, they ate human flesh and they had sharpened down teeth, so they must have been Aztecs. And they destroyed a civilization, so they must have been Aztecs. Because they had destroyed the Pueblo, they destroyed the Anasazi and caused the Pueblo. And so it must have been a marauding band, and they came down. The reason why Teotihuacan fell was because of civil unrest, and the people actually rose up against the state and destroyed it. It wasn't because of a band of Aztecs came down and then they collected up some Teotihuacani priests. Now I think that it was Teotihuacani priests that left and went to the Mexica in the south. This is where we get the term Mexican from the Mexica. Went down to Mexico, like the Tepanecs and the Aztecs, and the Aztecs used them, or they used it, however you want to see it. They're the carriers of the mathematics, whereas the Aztecs were the strongest ones of human sacrifice. That's why by the time you get to Cortez, you have the Triple Alliance and what you see there. Now, going back to what I was saying, but I think Mexico could hold claim if they didn't give the claim up to those areas. The Mexican-American War was Mr. Polk's war, right? Not to mention that Benito Juarez, because of him and his constitution, caused a rage of anti-clericalism that caused the Cristero War. And to this date, though it's not acted upon, it's in the Constitution that there should be only one priest and one church for each state. What is that, 13 priests in the whole country? Benito Juarez was anti-Latino, anti-Hispanic, was pro-Anglo-Saxon, was a Mason, was against the church, viewed himself as Thomas Jefferson-like, because he came out of the Indian populace. You can still see this, I mean, whether it's justified or not. People say, well, it's justified. The mestizos were the most cruel to the natives. I don't fucking care. In Chiapas, the missionaries that go down there, they would rather have them not be speaking Spanish or not be fluent in Spanish. They don't trust people who are fluent in Spanish. They want to hear an accent. They want the white, blonde-haired, blue-eyed people. And those people have learned to, I've talked to them, they've learned to speak, I forget what the language, Nahuatl or something like that. They've learned to speak Mayan, basically. And the people that are touched by it, well, you can't, not only, trying to speak Spanish for these people is not a big deal. They're just, who are these people? But the fact that they learned their indigenous language really touched them. That's a moving story for the friggin' missionaries that go down there, but I'm for the mestizo, the Creole, the Latino, the Hispanic, and basically traditional Mexican Catholicism. Not statified Roman Catholicism exactly, but the Virgin of Guadalupe, that actually happened, that she's real. Right? And her icon is real. So they can see the paint. Of course, you touch up icons all the time. I do it. You touch up an icon every 10 to 25 years. So why wouldn't there be layers of paint on there? The fact that it's 400 years old, a 400-year-old tilma, that acid was thrown on it. And the lady gave all of the Americas to us. I wouldn't see anything wrong with a complete Latinization of the Americas, of Spanish-speaking, Roman Catholic, heavy festivals like Carnival, because the Catholics intrinsically know more about beauty and sex and music than other people, or at least it seems like that. They know the value of celibacy, but yet they're not afraid of sex. You know, they have like 9 kids each, whether it's Hispanic, whether it's the other Latinos like the Italians or the Brazilians, whether it's the Irish Celts. Any actual Catholic civilizations know the importance of festivals, celebration, of sex, chastity, of these things. And I think that's better than the Anglo-Saxon Protestants. And I think they should move up, not as immigrants wanting to assimilate, but as a conquering force. I don't like immigration in this way, because there's assimilation there, and I don't like assimilation. I would like a very Latinized, very Catholic, very Hispanic future for North America. Peace to you. God save Serbia, Syria, and Ireland. And I'm not Roman Catholic, let me remind you. But when it comes to white Anglo-Saxon Protestants and Irish Catholic, Celtic people, or mestizo, Latino, Hispanic, Mexicans, I'll side with the Hispanic, Latino, mestizos over the Indians of Chiapas. I think they have the right of their own place, and yes, they've been abused by the Mexican government. But which government was it? It was post Benito Juarez. And we have to realize that the Indians will never accept the mestizos, and why should they? Or the Creoles. Why should they? They shouldn't. They know what we are. They know we have our civilization, they have theirs. And I want to clarify something. Mexico was born out of two, like most of Latin America was born out of two great warring civilizations, two great conquerors, Spain and Aztec. In the south it was the Incas and the Spanish. Both Aztec and Spanish conquered, both subjected people, both forced people into their way of living. Out of this comes Mexico, something new, something that's not Spanish, it's not Aztec, it's Mexican. Are all Mexicans Mexicans? Are they all from... Mexican doesn't mean you have to be from the Mexica tribe, it's who lives there. I don't even care if you're from Arab or... Well, there's many people from Celtic descent, but they intermarried because of the San Patricios. The San Patricios were the fiercest fighters in the Mexican-American War. Them and Nietos. If you look at the wars of Zachary Taylor, the fight at Chapultepec Castle, it was the young men and the San Patricios that fought the hardest. And there's monuments to them. There should be. I wonder what Benito Juarez would have thought of that. An Indian who wanted to dye his skin bleach his skin and blue his eyes and blonde his hair. You could tell I don't like Juarez. I think he's a traitor. He's not even a traitor. He didn't come from that. He's not even mestizo. He's an Indian. If somebody, I'm not talking about people who are full Indian blood and are part of Mexican civilization. They're Catholic. They're proud to be Hispanic and Latino, which means they fully accepted the culture, even though they don't have any Latin blood, that comes from Italy or Spain or Portugal. Even though in many respects you can't tell because both are very tan and red and beautiful color. But he had no respect for being Latino or Hispanic, and he wasn't. He threw it off. He didn't even have any of the Latino or Hispanic blood in him, so he was not even a traitor. He was an enemy to begin with.